Hello, my name is Stephen Lassiter, and I am a candidate for a Master's of Education degree in Instructional Technology at Kennesaw State University. I am completing my 13th year in education, and I currently teach sixth grade Earth Science and Social Studies at Pepperell Middle School in the Floyd County School System. The title of my capstone project is Using WebQuest to Increase Student Growth in Earth Science. The problem this experience addresses is that sixth grade science teachers at Pepperell Middle lack sufficient knowledge in integrating science content and technology through WebQuests that create meaningful and authentic learning experiences that lead to higher achievement. Achievement is measured in the number of students who score a 70 or higher on each school system common benchmark assessment. I developed this experience to address the need for professional learning for teachers to increase knowledge in identifying and creating web quests to engage students and increase student growth and achievement. The rationale for this capstone is that web quests are project-based learning opportunities that engage higher order thinking skills through collaborative, student-centered, technology-rich, and authentic practices. My project plan began with communicating with the sixth grade science teachers about the purpose of this plan. Once they accepted, I created and facilitated a depth of technological knowledge survey to assess their comfort and ability to manipulate and use digital tools in their teaching practices. Next, I created a checklist for them to use to identify the quality web quests and a rubric to follow for the creation of their own. Once these were created, I hosted professional learning opportunities with the checklist to show them how to identify existing quality web quests on the internet that they then facilitated in their classroom. After the implementation of the web quests, I conferenced with the teachers to analyze student scores on the school system's common assessment benchmarks to conduct item line analysis against the content of the web quest and the range of student achievement. The next series of professional learning began with handing out the quality rubric for creating quality web quests and how to make them on user-friendly platforms like Weebly or Google Slides. After this, teachers created their own web quests and implemented them in their classrooms. After each implementation, I conferenced with the teachers to judge their successes and failures, as well as more item line analysis versus the content on the web quest in conjunction with the school system's curriculum map. Once the teachers were comfortable in identifying and creating their own web quests, I conducted regular conferencing and drop-ins to address any concerns, needs, successes, failures, and offer any recommendations or suggestions for new programs and strategies that I have found to include in their activities. The evaluation plan for this capstone began with the background knowledge survey to assess teacher knowledge and comfort with manipulating and implementing digital tools in their learning activities. The next item was the checklist to help them identify existing web quests, which we evaluated together after the facilitation of System Common Assessment Benchmark. The third item of the evaluation plan was the rubric for developing quality web quests, which success was evaluated after the facilitation of each school system benchmark assessment. The final activity culminated in the regular conferences and drop-ins after the facilitation of each remaining benchmark assessment for the remainder of the school year. Student achievement and growth were assessed in conjunction with the web quests used and deliverables administered through the project. This capstone project was a great experience for me and the sixth grade science teachers. Once the professional learning opportunities began, student and professional learning were positively impacted. The teachers became comfortable and knowledgeable in being able to identify, create, and implement sound project based learning experiences with their students that ultimately led to higher student achievement and growth in the sixth grade earth science content. Not only did the number of students increase their score to achieve a 70 or higher on the system common benchmark assessments, but the average score increased as well. The benchmark assessment taken in September took place before the implementation of the Capstone project and professional learning opportunities. As a result, the average score of 61 in September served as the control group in which all other benchmark assessments were compared to. At this point, I began conducting my professional learning and distribution of the checklist and rubric. The assessment taken in November saw a 4-point increase to a 65 average. I continued my plan of professional learning, conferences, and drop ins over the next several months. The assessment taken in December saw a drastic increase of 11 points to an average of 76. The next assessment, which was taken after the long holiday break, saw a slight drop in the average to a 71, most likely due to the post holiday slump that students always seem to experience. Once normalcy in routine resumed, the assessments in April and May saw an increase to an average of 75 and 76, respectively. Along with increases in the average score of all sixth grade students on the benchmark assessments, the percentage of students who scored a 70 or higher increased over the course of the project. With September serving as the control group, I used the 40% of students who scored a 70 or higher to compare the future scores to. On the November benchmark assessment, we had an increase of 3 points, with 43% of students scoring 70 or higher. The December assessment saw a great increase of 19 points to 62% of students making a 70 or higher. Like with the average score on the February assessment, we saw a post-holiday decrease of students scoring 70 or higher, which dropped to 56%. However, the April and May scores climbed to 60% and 64%, respectively, of the students who scored a 70 or higher. Though I followed the plan as succinctly as possible, I did experience a barrier. In the development of the capstone plan, I could not foresee changes in the school schedule, which interrupted the professional learning and conferences with the teachers during planning. These barriers included unscheduled meetings and conferences with teachers and faculty, inclement weather and canceled school, internet outages, illness days, and etc. To alleviate these barriers, I was able to make changes in the timeline that worked both well with the teachers and myself. This project also gave me extremely valuable coaching and leadership experience in facilitating technology in the school and classroom, as it allowed me to conduct positive and effective professional development in order to increase student achievement, growth, and professional learning. To improve on this capstone experience, in the future, I would include all 6th, 7th, and 8th grade content area teachers in the professional learning opportunities in order to address school-wide content area achievement. Credit for my work and copyright are found here on these slides. Thank you for joining me.